status. Yo, Burb. Adrian, I got around the audio splitting. Did you? It's awesome, dude. It's easier than it looks, right? Something like today on the Super Server channel on YouTube. Kind of, but it's gonna be a lot more like centralized, I guess. Like it's going to be specifically to like top lane and talking about trading interactions, champion matchups, exploits, and a bunch of other things that people don't talk about. Oh, here's the other thing. Now on the YouTube channel, because I already had the sponsorship tag beforehand with CLG, right? You guys will see like the sponsors at the bottom left. Since that's no longer gonna be a thing, I'm going to probably add, because I had to search up the sponsors myself, like 30 second clips before the YouTube video starts. That'll essentially like benefit my or that it'll give me the revenue, because my YouTube channel itself my YouTube channel, since I started streaming, or since I started doing content, outside of like the first like couple months when I started it, I have this thought process behind it where like I don't take revenue, or if I do, it's such a small margin it doesn't matter, from the YouTube channels, because I see the YouTube channels and just social media in general as like advertising platforms for the stream. Yo, Mateo, thanks for the sub. Thank you. RBC, thank you for 63. Yeah, so I specifically see it like that. So what I'm gonna do now, especially to keep the money running for RBC and I, my boy, is gonna be adding those like 15-30 second like advertisements and stuff, like whether it's like op.gg, like op.gg applications, or like anything really that comes up like that, right? As long as it's not like some gambling sponsorship or anything like that can just like ruin reputation. Poseidon, thank you for 33. BBB matches are fun to watch. Oh hell yeah, I had a lot of fun in New York. I made a lot of money from the Europeans doing money matches there. I came back home with like 500, 600 bucks, I think. They pretty much, I mean, actually, I guess CLG, because CLG hadn't exploded before I got there, right? So CLG paid me for the trip and all that. So I made profit from going. Arcana, it was nice meeting you too, bro. We gotta meet again. Have you ever searched challenges for yourself, or are you waiting for offers to come? I've never searched them for myself, but I think it's pretty easy. I already have like 3 or 4 set up that are gonna give me like $1.5 grand or so extra a month. So I think as long as you know how to communicate with them and show them your stats and all that, and actually be like on point, you're fine. So it's not a big deal. Next video will feature Raid Shadow Legends. Honestly, we might even take some of those for like the 30-second clips thing. I'm not gonna be streaming them for an hour on Twitch thing though. That's not what I'm gonna do. Where did you place? We had 120 players. About like 90 or 100 of them were pro players. I placed 16th. But honestly, there's like something I want to discuss about the tournaments in the FGC. Probably more down the line that I'll talk about on like the FGC channel. That it's very interesting to think about. Because I find that it's very difficult to find consistency. In tournaments for FGC when you're essentially playing. So imagine this, okay? You sit down into a like, you know, a console to like you're doing the 1v1 against your opponent, right? Like say that the console has 78 ping, right? And then you sit down next to on the other console on the right because you're playing with someone else. But now you have like a pro version of like a different version of the console. and now you're playing at 45 ping, right? And then you go and you play on another one where like the console's been turned on for like the last like 3 hours and it's kind of overheating a little bit, and now you're playing at 120 ping, right? That on top of like randomly no audio, randomly like just some little stuff here and there. I find it very interesting how that's a thing in the FGC nowadays. I mean, it's still, because I think FGC's like high level play is still kind of scuffed. Like when I see like Punk and these other guys playing in like Evo Japan and stuff, and then like they're playing like a game and they don't know what delay they're playing on. It's pretty funny. What rank are you in the server? I don't know. I think like D1 Masters or some shit. What is this, a Sett matchup with Grasp? Bro, I thought Sett could just fucking one-shot you with Ignite if you wanted to. You. Oh no, yeah, for sure. And that's so it's very difficult to find consistency and things like that. Oh brother. You know, this matchup is I was thinking about it. This matchup is kind of fucked. Not for Sett, but for Riven. And I was thinking, because I've kind of changed my approach for, I mean, I guess not necessarily changed, but I've become more aware of the matchups in League of Legends. Towards where, like especially in solo queue, you want to be playing matchups to exploit your opponent like really heavy, so that you can find consistency and just look to see how hard you can stomp people. Right? For example, like if I go into Riven into like Nasus, my job is to make him have like 10 CS like 100 or like 10 minutes in, right? But there are some matchups that are like impossible to find or like to obtain that level of pressure. So when you play them, you can't really exploit the matchups that heavy. It just becomes kind of farm lanes. And I find it really interesting that the top laners that are picked for League, especially in the meta, like high level, it's always champions that are able to heavy exploit their opponent. Especially on the trade patterns and everything. You're gonna something on 22. Do you get burnt out from League often when you find yourself? I don't really get burnt out from League. I get burnt out from hold on. This guy's dead. I don't really get burnt out from League. I get burnt out from what's the word I'm looking for? From not being able to do things like so when I play on NA, for example. Sorry, I'm a little sick. So I'm feeling a lot better. So for example, let's say I'm playing on NA, right? And I'm playing Riven versus Jax matchup. I know that. Oh, hold up, brother. Let me go. What is this? Let's say I'm playing like a Jax matchup. I know. And I find it really fun to see these little holes in gameplay that I can exploit and get really, really fed with, right? And find like that level of like oppression that I just enjoy playing with, right? But on NA, I don't really have the ability to do that, and I always feel like there's this thing in the back of my mind telling me you could be doing like more reactive trading patterns outside of like tether range and stuff like that. That I can't really do when I'm on like 50 plus ping, right? So I find that I get burnt out in a way where it's like, damn, I should be doing this in this matchup, but it's like I can't really do it, right? And I go like, damn, I guess I should just fucking allow my opponent to play the game incorrectly, and then we just kind of gamble and coin flip, right? So that kind of bores me a lot. Joe Johnson took the 17. my favorite streamer doing? Thanks, bro. I'm doing all right. I'm a little sick right now, but other than that, pretty good. Was talking about some stuff earlier about like what I'm planning to doing with the content and everything. Well, actually, okay, so I built this framework of strategy depending on who. Oh, the cooldown on that's pretty low. Okay, I built this framework of strategy for reactive and predictive games that I think is that I think is pretty fucking insanely good. And, like, I find consistency in a lot of games. Like you guys know, I'm a fucking huge nerd when it comes to this stuff. I just really enjoy figuring out problems and just solving them, especially like when it comes to like games when I'm playing against an opponent and I can gap them. Finish that. Let's get out of here just in case. So I've realized that you have to build a different strategy or framework based on the input delay that you have on. Because instead of complaining about something, right, like instead of complaining about, oh, like this thing is delayed or this thing is that, it's that you just have to build a framework of strategy based on what delay you're playing on. You replicate the framework online for newbies? Oh no, yeah, I could teach it. It's just something that takes that I think it's somewhat unrealistic for people to learn right away. Even and it's not something that gets like applied at low level, I feel like. But I can explain it very well. For example, actually, in this matchup, I can't, in like Riven versus Sett, right? When you look at it, like on paper, or even just like in front, like in the lane, just in front of you, right? This matchup is not a matchup you can heavy exploit because the abilities that the Sett has are always, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't really bait without sacrificing something. Because he could just wait for you to be like in the range. Like he doesn't have to wait. The only reason I'm winning against this guy is because he has no concept of trading. Nothing. So look, you can actually play like worse champions. Or champions that in theory should be losing the matchup. In a way where it's like you're essentially baiting a mistake like permanently, and if you play against players that don't know how to deal with that, you just kind of win even if you're playing a bad champion or a losing situation. Like if for example, if I was to just do this, right, like approach, stay inside this little tether range that happens right in front, right? Like in theory, Sett never has to throw an ability out to catch you, right? Like that, like he never has to do that. But bad players, or not necessarily bad players, but players who lack that knowledge will always like throw out their abilities and then end up wasting key moments that can actually give them advantages in the matchup. I'm gonna let him go. I don't really care. I'm just gonna take the plates. Yo, Griffer, it's 23 months. You're still playing in that? Let me play with you once, please. We can do 1v1s if you want. Not now though, because I'm actually trying to explain some stuff. But yeah, I've built up this thing that I think is really, really cool. So like if I for example pick Jace into Sett, my mind has kind of expanded into like what I need to do to just mind blow my opponent. It still takes practice depending on like what champion or what matchup you're playing in, right? Or like what composition you're playing against. But it's so cool. It's so cool. It kind of goes back to the whole thing, if you remember from like, honestly from years ago, where I just say like, oh, it's like, oh, you just want to get like a huge advantage on your opponent. You want to try to get the largest advantage possible that you can build up to carry your team, to have a higher win percentage. Kind of like that, but with a lot more variables like mixed in. You're in NA anymore? I am in NA. I just, I'm not playing on it at the moment because I want to play with my low ping in my Latino server. with my hermanos. I'll probably get this account to rank 1 on this server as I like keep practicing some stuff with micro. Also, I finally I got the timing down, chat, for the hold up. I got the timing down for the auto attack shield bash proc. I actually found it to be extremely easy on this ping. Like you can actually do it reactively. I don't think you can do it reactively with the NA ping. It's actually really easy. It actually gives you a decent amount of damage too for like those type of trading patterns. I can go mid lane. Let's reset here. And the answer is in Miami? Yeah, it is, bro. That's why I'm pretty happy with it. It lets me practice stuff that I wouldn't normally be able to practice. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Playing in NA is just really bad for... I mean, if you had a low ping, it'd be fine, because you're just practicing, again, your micro anyway. So solo queue is not that bad. But if you're playing with like high ping in NA, it's like you're not getting practice for macro, and you're not really like improving your mechanics either way either, so... It's really tragic. You went to New York and didn't think I made a 30 ping? No, bro, I just walked around a ton and I visited a lot of places with a bunch of buddies of mine. We didn't, after doing the tournament, of course, I wasn't gonna go to New York to play fucking League, bro. The fuck? So where's the Wukong at, man? Oh, I went to this deli that apparently is pretty famous, called Cats. Bro, they had the best fucking pastrami sandwich I've eaten in forever. Fuck, I fucked that up. A fucking random Janna popped out. Well, got my item. Your delis are the goat. And bro, we were in a line for like 20 minutes because it's like supposed to be like the oldest deli in the US. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if it's like the world or whatever. But it was dope. It was dope. Their pastrami sandwiches were godlike, and the fucking cheesesteak sandwiches were also fucking insanely good. You're still up for TwitchCon, right? I might not be RBC because money's gonna be a little bit tighter. Because I still have to go to... I'm still gonna go to Evo and Combo Breaker, but then it's like... I'm kind of spreading myself super thin by doing that. Remember, CLG was paying all my stuff beforehand, right? Like they were paying my my flights, they were paying my hotels and stuff. So CLG is no longer a thing. So definitely gotta be more frugal. Excuse me, sorry, a little sick. I just joined Moscow 5. I'm definitely gonna miss CLG, man. They were probably the best org I ever worked with. Get a quick little kill here. Where's she gonna rotate to, chat? Oh. Shame. How many orgs have you been with? I've been with like 3 orgs, but the first big one that I ever got into was with CLG. The first orgs I ever had were ones that were just essentially coming up with League, starting to get popular, like Mortality and a bunch of different ones from back in the day. Like when I was in high school, I would get paid I think 500 a month by them with like peripherals. Like they would send me keyboards and mouse or like different mice and stuff from like my first G710 was from like organizations when I was in high school. Well, this game's over. I'm not sure why these guys are still playing. What are the scariest one tricks to come up against? I have no fear, man. Sorry. Oh my god, the speed. Too quick. The Sett fucking just threw me into the Janna to kill her. I don't think they like each other. Jeez. I feel kind of bad for them. What's up? What do we do? Oh, they buffed Death Dance against, right, champ? It's actually a good item now. Phoenix Star, I think it was tier 3 for the 28 months. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, CDR is back. Any tips on how to fight Sett and Volibear for any Riven player? If you're playing in like lower brackets, you can just wait for them. Oh, actually, Volibear not so much, but Sett you can just wait for them to like fuck up and then you just kill them. Volibear can be a little bit more difficult because he's very like noob friendly, kind of like a Garen. Not to say that Sett isn't fucking noob friendly, but he actually has to time some things in terms of like how he does trading with you. How was New York? It was awesome, man. Actually, I could see myself living in New York in the future. I love being able to just walk everywhere. Learning to use the subway and stuff was actually like. Is New York more expensive than LA? I don't think so. Wasn't it cold when you met? No, I actually like the cold. I don't really like the heat, like in Miami and all that. I don't really like it. There we go. Ooh, I got my Steam up. Hold up, let's close that. We are in Diamond 1. Let's go.